Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Salam sejahtera, Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan untuk kita semua. Distinguished Chairman of the National Economic Council of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Professor Luhut Binsar Panjaitan, Deputy Consul General, People's Republic of China in Denpasar, Mr. Juyu, Xiao Hao, Tsinghua Southeast Asia Board of Trustees Ibu Cherry Nur Salim, BMO Financial Group Isaac Newton Chair and Director Emeritus of Perimeter Institute, Professor Robert Myers. Thank you for making it across the world, Rob. Rob came all the way from Canada to be here. Thank you. Distinguished guests, my fellow rectors and faculty, my fellow docent, thank you so much for making the journey all the way to here. We are so honored that you can come. Beloved students, thank you for coming here, and distinguished guests for making it all the way here. And you may not know, but we have, I think, close to 800, am I right? Close to 800 online participants watching us right now. So, hi everyone. Thank you, and we are so excited that you can join us. First and foremost, I want to say Selamat Hari Guru. Okay, today is the peak of Teachers' Day. Teachers' Day is actually the 25th of November, but today there is a celebration as well. So we're very excited to have that. Okay, just making sure it's keep missing. All right. President of the Republic of Indonesia, President Prabowo Subianto, has gave us a very clear target that we want to achieve economic growth. The 8% is also the number that President has stated. And overall, what we want to do is that we will become one of the strong economic powers of the world. And under the leadership of President Prabowo, I believe that all of us can actually go towards this ambitious but also feasible goals. However, in order to achieve this goal, we must work together. We must work in concert together. And we also have to be very thoughtful and strategic and work hard. I want to say a few words today about growth and how do you achieve growth and why is economic growth is extremely tightly related with university, with science, and with technology. I think there is a perception in our country that university education and university activities, including science and technology and research that evolves around it, does not have a direct impact on economic growth. And I think this cannot be further truth. All right, so I want to invite you all to think about how do we achieve growth. If I ask you today, how do we achieve growth? I'm very sure all of you will be thinking about investment. You must make investment. And when we think about investment, we think about investment in material resources. However, I can assure you that if we only invest in material resources, you will not achieve infinite growth. You will not achieve limitless growth. There are two main reasons why investment in material resources will not result in growth. The first one is that material resources is limited. It's not infinite. If I have more of them, if I personally have more of the material resources, everybody else will have less of it. So imagine that we start with 100 computers. If one computer is given to me, then all of you will have fewer computers, right? All of you will have only 99 computers. And so in this case, we will actually be harder to achieve growth because those resources is already taken away by one person. There's less for every other people. Okay, when you come to this problem, then you might say, okay, that's easy. What you have to do is to give more investment. So let's buy more and more and more computers until every single person in the room gets one computer. Okay, this sounds good. But what happens then? Remember, the goal is growth. You need to keep growing. Suppose that everyone has a computer. At this point, if everyone has a computer, you don't really have growth. It's just a linear one, right? So it's constant. And you might say, all right, we continue investing. So now we are going to buy another computer for every person. So every person will have 2 computers instead of 1. At this point, what you have to ask is, if I, as a vice minister, have 2 computers instead of 1, I don't, I only have 1, okay? Ministry only give me 1. Will my output double? No, of course that's not the case. Even the amazing thinker like His Excellency Luhut Binsar Panjaitan, if we gave him 2 computers instead of 1, his output will not double. Or Professor Robert Myers, if we gave him 2 computers instead of 1, he's not gonna write better physics, he's not gonna do better calculations, at least not gonna be doubled. He's not gonna do twice more interesting talk that he will give today. So this, ladies and gentlemen, are what is called diminishing margin of return. I know that this is basic economy, but I think I want to remind you all about this concept, a very important concept. So diminishing margin of return tells you really clearly, with every unit of investment, you cannot get further growth. At some point, it will peters out. So what do? There is only one kind of investment that is not subject to diminishing margin return. And that is ideas. Investment on ideas. Why? Remember, the first problem is that if there's 100 computers and I got 1, there's fewer computers for everybody. So that means for material resources, it will be distributed. However, that is not the case with ideas, because I can have an idea, and if I share these ideas, I will not have less of these ideas. That is very different from material resources. So every single ideas that I have, I can share it, and everyone can share it with everybody else without decreasing the value of that idea. Furthermore, if I combine one idea plus another idea, I might get a third idea that's even better than the first and the second ideas individually. I could never get that from material resources. You have one computer plus another computer, it will not give birth to somehow a third computer just by combining them. You still have to invest, right? So this is why ideas are not subject to diminishing margin of return. And that is precisely the case when we think about downstreaming, hilirisasi, a very, very important goal in our country that is actually also was initiated by His Excellency Luhut Binsar Panjaitan. That is idea. Downstreaming is idea. You do not change the material good. You think about the idea about how to change that material good, how to change that natural resources into something better. And you need ideas. Where do those ideas come from? Professor Rob Myers are going to tell us about what are those good ideas, how do you get them, and how they can be so worth it to drive our economy. University is an engine of economy that cannot be stated more clearly, and I hope you will enjoy the amazing lecture by Professor Rob Myers. Thank you.